The next section that we're going to talk about is the area of refinement. So a lot of times what I see when people are trying to put a horsemanship program together is they've got, like we talked about the mindset, the emotions, and things like that. We talked about the foundation. We talked about the groundwork and the riding. But from there, you've got to take things kind of to the next level. You've got to have a way that like your average is now better, and then your better is even better. Like things have to kind of be progressive. And it doesn't necessarily mean fast, doesn't necessarily have to mean a lot, but just different. Because when you're facing challenges, and you know, like we had a guy the other day, he's like, well, my horse does it, like it kicks out only one direction for a lead departure or a lead change. How do I fix that? Eventually, you're going to get to some spots where you're going to be struggling with your horse in an area, and if a lot of these other things that are sitting out here on the side aren't better than normal, and then you're trying to fix this one little piece, it's going to be really hard because the horse's entire standards are low. Now, it doesn't make him a bad horse, doesn't make you a bad rider, or that you have a bad program. It just means the standards are down here. So what you need to do after you get your mindset right and your theories right, your concepts right, your groundwork going, your riding going, you've got to start refining all of these tools. Like for instance, like we talked about here, can you get your horse to, say, lower his head here? We'll just kind of wait. There he goes. Like that's like a refinement. Maybe at first we have to use these reins, and it's important. You need to be able to pull on your horse and get him to lower his head. That would be, say, stage one, get him to lower with your reins, and then maybe stage two, get him to lower with your legs or something. Right? That's a refinement aspect. So you have your rein here, all right, and then you have your leg. He's actually a little better with the leg, so maybe I need to refine more with the rein in this instance. Maybe a refinement might be here, like we get him to go, and then I need the rein to stop, but could I just stop him without the rein? That's a refinement. Maybe I'm going to come over here and I'm going to ask him to go to the left, all right? I'm just going to wait. Like if let's say I had to pull him over here, all right, and then if I quit pulling, he just stopped, all right? If I pulled, he went. If I didn't pull, he didn't go. But could I just ask him to go and then just sit here and he just keeps turning because I didn't tell him to stop? That's a refinement, right? I asked you to go left. Are you still going left? Like I'm not nagging him here. I just haven't watched my left hand. I haven't brought my hand to here. See, I haven't shut you off yet, so keep going. That's a refinement. All right, so what you want to do is look at your program and see how many things that you have that are on a nice foundation, and then how many of those have a refinement. Maybe you have, say, trailer loading. I've seen this a lot. They lead their horse in the trailer. Year one, year two, they're leading a horse in the trailer. Year three, they're leading a horse in the trailer. And one day, for whatever reason, it's late, it's early, it's bright, it's dark, there's a horse, there isn't another horse. Whatever the thing is, the horse doesn't want to load. And there's like, well, I don't understand. He's always loaded. It's like, well, have you ever refined the loading? He says, what do you mean refine the loading? It's like, well, can he send into the trailer on his own? Can he be first, second, third, last? Can you load him backwards? Can you load him sideways? Can you load him over a barrel and into the trailer? Can you load him over a barrel, across the tarp, into the creek, into the trailer? Like, are you refining things? Or are you just saying, well, I've been dragging him into the trailer for 3 years and one day you just didn't? It's like, well, maybe you never refined it, and then that one day he needed just a little bit extra communication, but because you didn't have it, it didn't work. And you're like, I don't know why you didn't load. It's like, well, you didn't have a refined horse. You've been relying on just a basic foundation, and now that he's been doing this for 3 years, he needed more help, but you haven't been there to provide it. So maybe here, I might take a little something here. This drives people crazy. Okay. If you're a dressage rider, you might like this for like a long, low stretch a little bit. Some people call this peanut pushing, but could you ride your horse with his head low without having to hold him down there? All right? Could you just fix it up here so that his head could be low? This could keep you from getting bucked off. If you just rode him like this with his head on the ground the whole time, he's probably not going to buck you off, because in order to buck you off, his head would probably have to come up and then back down, and then up and then back down. So he couldn't really, honestly, isn't going to buck very well if his head's down the whole time. All right? Some of you might disagree with that a little bit. You're like, oh, I rode this horse one time and he kept his head down. But you know what I mean. He's not going to be just soft, steady, and consistent and buck you off. He's going to have to be soft, steady, consistent, now inconsistent, now not soft, now heavy, then bucked off, then quiet again, because someone's going to give him alfalfa and put him back in his stall. All right? So could you do something like this, like refine? Could you, on a loose rein, get him to walk with his head down? But then I might just ride him normal. I'll ask him, just ride wherever you want to ride. All right? Just see what he does. He's like, I like it here. I'm like, great. You can be right there. That is fine. But if I ask you to be lower, could you be lower? That's a refinement. Now it says, hey, just ride wherever you want to ride. Now ride lower. Now ride normal. Now ride lower. Now ride normal. Do you have any refinement there that you could work on with your horse? We might pick him up here, and I might just real quietly just offer him. I might just hold him here. Here would be a refinement. I'm just kind of going through some things. The big program will explain all these things in details. This is just kind of an overview video. I'm just going to pick my hand up way up here, and I'm going to bring it over here and just see what he does. He's not doing exactly what I want, but he's getting close. I'm not going to help him much here. I'd like to feel his front feet just come around. There he went. So then I'll put my hand down. So a refinement would be, can he figure it out from me being way up here versus like here and just pulling here, right? This is pretty obvious for him when I pull here, but could he figure it out from up here? See, he's a little lost there, so I'm just going to wait. I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait. There, he made it. And then let him be, you see. So these, again, just little refinements. Could we get this to where maybe he could turn around a little bit and lower his head when he does it? All right? Doesn't mean he has to stay down here all day and things like that. But do you have any control there? Because when you say things were fine and then they're not fine, my first question is, what's your definition of fine? Because typically fine does not also include refinement, right? You got to refine your fine, right? Might check out another one here. I'm going to pick him up here on the left and just see, can he kind of shape like he does on the ground? If I were to pick him up here, could he kind of hold his shape around here to the left? Now, if he doesn't, I'll help him. I'll pick him up and then say, could you hold this shape? Again, I probably haven't been bucked off a horse that walks like this. Why? Because he's soft, he's bent, he's giving. All right? Pick him up. And then maybe could I do it from here? Could I pick him up and communicate with my legs and my seat with just a little bit of rein and exaggerate out here? This might be a refinement, right? Maybe I'll just sit here, no rein. And I'm going to ride him forward. I'm going to ride him backwards. I'm going to push him forward. I'm going to bring him back. And I might try to pick him up here and turn him and speed him up. Let's see what he does. I might kick him. Just see what he does. Just see what he does. Because if all it takes is somebody swinging a rope to get you bucked off, you might maybe need to do some more stuff and see what your horse will do or not do. But notice there, he gets a little worried, but then look, he self-calms himself. He's like, hold on, I got to get focused here. My job is to help and to be better. So yes, because I'm a border collie, I went, oh, but I'm actually not supposed to be like that. So he self-calms, but I'm not going to wait for somebody to show up to get me bucked off. That's the difference. I'm going to test it out at home, so when I go somewhere, I can just enjoy myself. I can go on the wine ride and have a glass of wine and not worry about all the people that are stampeding by on their horse that they just drug out after 6 months off, and they got bucked off, and they're trying to catch their horses and whatever's going on. I can just enjoy myself because I've taken the time to prepare my horse, and then maybe I could go help those folks a little bit. I have a horse that I could depend on, so maybe we'll go catch somebody's loose horse or something, or whatever is going on. But we test these things out. Now I'm going to get ready here, and now see what he is now. Because I kind of did a few things, and I kicked a little bit and stuff, I haven't touched him here. But he's like, hold on, I've got you. I've got this. He's helping. So person might say, well, Steve, I got bucked off because somebody else did something and it disturbed my horse, and then he just wasn't mentally right, and whatever their story is. Well, here, I just mentally disturbed this horse with my leg. He got nervous, got calmer. I gave him a break. Then I asked again, and he's actually better. So really what you should be telling yourself is, I hope there's somebody here to disrupt me because my horse is going to get better. But for most of you, unfortunately, it's the opposite of that. One little opportunity for your horse to step out and be astray, everything's falling apart. All right? So we're going to wrap this one up again here too. Again, the big picture for all of these things is in my program, right? The whole program. This is just a quick little inspirational video. Give you some ideas, trigger some things, get you thinking, get you just looking and kind of understanding. Because honestly, I don't know a lot of people that'll present it like this to you. They're not very realistic. They're not just, here it is, this is why, this is how. They're going to try to horse whisper you a little bit. They're not going to give you the right scenarios. They're certainly not going to risk themselves, their horses. They're not going to show real examples. They're not going to do real things. There's a few people that will. There's a few. But in general, you're not going to see a lot of that. But that's what you need. You need the reality check, the reality situation, the reality exercise, the reality scenario, because you guys are living in reality with your horses, and the reality is it gets real dangerous sometimes. And if nothing else, it's going to blow your confidence if things don't go right. You're not going to be enjoying your horses as much as you'd like to enjoy them. Things just aren't going to be working the way they need to be working for the amount of time, money, and effort that you're putting into this animal. All right? We've all put a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of effort into these animals. We should be able to reap some rewards from it. That doesn't mean you have to go out and win every horse show, but the reward of having good confidence, having satisfaction of a job well done, being able to overcome some challenges, being able to digest a situation and come out ahead of it, both of you, both you and your horse. These are all real important things. So hopefully this segment helped you guys out. We're going to go ahead and move on to the next one.